I don't know about where you're at, but here in Utah, if you're looking to make some extra cash for not doing much of anything, donating plasma at BioLife tends to be a really popular gig. Currently, there are over 70 different BioLife plasma donation centers scattered across the United States, where they prey upon the poor, needy, and the frequently starving college students struggling to make ends meet.
There are over 900 private plasma centers across the U.S., mostly owned by 3 companies that control 2/3 of the plasma industry.
Since the Great Recession, the amount of plasma donations has roughly tripled to 2019 levels.
Researchers like Ochoa say these centers are often concentrated in states with lower minimum wages and cities with more people living under the poverty line.
These areas are being targeted because these are the areas where people who are most in need of income live.
One study of plasma donors in Cleveland found that more than half were
easy money, and I only find myself doing it when I need money.
While donors make about $50 per donation, a liter of plasma is worth over $200 on the open market. When Liz Savage and her husband first started donating plasma in college, the earnings doubled their monthly income.
$400 goes a long way when you're a broke student.
If you donate the maximum of 104 times a year, you can earn more than $6,000.
Some people can make even more than that these days if you get into all of the different promos that they offer. But the question is, what would something like that do to your body? To answer that, let's ask the question, what is plasma?
If you were to spin a blood sample really fast or centrifuge it, you would soon find that plasma makes up about 55% of the volume of blood. And plasma itself is actually 90% water.
90% water. So donating plasma should mostly just dehydrate you. But water is a super abundant resource. Yet companies like BioLife want to pay you a bunch of money so they can harvest it out of your blood? There's gotta be something more to it than just that.
This means it's perfectly adapted for its transport function. So what does plasma transport? It carries red blood cells, which themselves carry oxygen, and white blood cells, and platelets, and nutrients.
The red blood cells get filtered out through the centrifuge in a plasma donation. But what about those white blood cells? Are those collected as well as the plasma? I don't think they're paying out for a simple vitamin water here. If they are actually taking your white blood cells, that could be significant.
The nutrients come from the food we eat every day and include amino acids, vitamins, fats, sugars, and fatty acids. These key components are used to keep us fit and healthy. Plasma also transports heat throughout the body and can even help with heat loss.
Yeah, that's what water does.
As well as being 90% water, plasma is 7% proteins. Some of these proteins in the blood plasma are involved in defense. These include globulins functioning as antibodies, which are used to fight infection, and fibrinogen, which helps to form clots to seal wounds.
Okay, that would explain why blood plasma is advertised as helping the pharmaceutical companies make medicine for people with compromised immune systems.
The most important protein in plasma is albumin. Albumin proteins in the blood plasma pull water back into the blood capillary from the surrounding tissues. The albumin in the blood plasma means there is a higher water concentration in the fluid in the surrounding tissues than there is in the blood.
So if you take those proteins out of your body and give them to someone else, do you think that'll affect your body very much?
This means water is pulled back into the blood from the tissues by osmosis and water moving down its concentration gradient. We say that the albumin maintains the osmotic pressure of the blood.
So taking that out of your body is going to affect your body's ability to regulate blood pressure.
As well as 90% water and 7% proteins, plasma also has important salts and electrolytes, such as sodium and potassium.
Gatorade also has that. But they don't need your blood plasma for that. Even a simple IV has that.
These are really important in keeping our nerves firing, so they can send messages around the body. Plasma also includes enzymes that catalyze reactions and hormones that regulate body functions.
Okay, so it's not really your plasma that they want, which is mostly water. It's actually the hormones, enzymes, and all these other things that are in your plasma that they want.
So as well as moving useful substances around the body, plasma is also involved in getting rid of waste products, like urea. Urea is produced in the liver when excess amino acids are broken down. The nitrogen from the amino acids is converted to ammonia. But this is poisonous, and so we don't want it in our blood. Instead, it's converted again to urea before being released into the plasma.
Which means if we take the plasma out of your blood, your body's going to have a harder time getting rid of this urea, which will affect your health.
The blood plasma is filtered by the kidneys and the urea is removed from the body in the urine. So, to summarise, the plasma has a range of roles, including maintaining blood pressure, water levels, and body temperature. It has a major role in transporting many substances around the body, including hormones, nutrients, gases, waste products, and proteins, such as antibodies and enzymes.
So if you take that plasma out of your blood, it is going to affect your health in a lot of different ways.
Plasma regenerates so quickly that donors can donate twice a week with just a day in between donations.
That 90% water in your plasma might replenish itself really quickly. But that doesn't mean all of that other stuff in your plasma also replenishes itself that quickly.
Whole blood donations require a wait time of 8 weeks to allow the cells to regenerate.
There isn't much research on the health effects of donating plasma 104 times a year, the US legal limit.
Your veins start to hurt after so long, you gotta switch arms back and forth.
The more often people donate plasma, the lower their protein levels are. So frequent visits mean each donation brings in less and less of the components needed to make drugs.
Our concern is that people who are vulnerable are giving their plasma to make ends meet, and we don't actually know what the long-term repercussions of this is.
Thousands of people are catching up on reading, work, and simply relaxing while donating plasma.
Holy freak, that is a lot of plasma. That is just from one person too. Please keep in mind that the average human adult body only has about 1.5 gallons of blood in it. If you take that much plasma out of it, don't you think that's going to have some negative repercussions on your body?
Who benefits from plasma donations? Some of the more common recipients are people with hemophilia, immune deficiencies, emergency room patients, or burn victims.
It's about $4,000 to $5,000 out of pocket. And there have been times where I have had to, I've taken out loans.
These drugs are therapies, not cures. So people like Christina rely on them for the rest of their lives, and they can cost over $200,000 a year.
So they don't cure anything. Essentially, they compromise the health of the many, poor and struggling, to treat the few with compromised immune systems. BioLife sounds like a pharmaceutical company dream come true. Let's make poor people sick by compromising their immune systems, hopefully making them dependent upon us, so we can continually treat sick people who can afford to pay $200,000 a year, but never cure them, because we want them to become dependent upon us for the rest of their lives. This is modern-day slavery.
Now every week, Christina self-administers 100 milliliters of a plasma-derived drug into the layer of tissue on her abdomen. That's a lot of liquid.
Coming from a lot of poor and needy people.
The safe and sterile process for donating plasma is called plasmapheresis.
What's going to happen is your blood's going to go up through these tubes into the separation device. Your plasma will fall down this line into the collection container hanging from the machine. This reservoir will fill with your concentrated blood cells, and once it gets about 3/4 of the way full, you'll get all that blood returned to you.
The collection and reinfusion phases are automatically repeated until a target amount of plasma has been collected. The whole process usually takes less than an hour.
It's very safe to donate.
Do you really trust her on that? It might not kill you immediately, but that doesn't mean there are no negative repercussions. By definition, a conspiracy is an unlawful, harmful, or evil plan formulated in secret by two or more persons. A plot. It can also be defined as a combination of persons for such an unlawful, harmful, or evil purpose. So, is BioLife a conspiracy fact? Look into it for yourself and you decide. My sources are linked in this video's description. Thank you all for watching. This message has been brought to you by the Flat Earth Institute of Science. If you'd like to debate this topic, or other topics that YouTube won't let us talk about, please come and join our Flat Earth Biology debate board, where we can talk about things openly. Even if you're just interested in trying to find out more about certain taboo topics, or have information you'd like to contribute, come check it out. There is a link in this video's description.
This is a new drug in the same family of Botox. We don't expect any problems. Your check for $14 is waiting for you at the front desk, and we think you are all going to look beautiful. Okay. Now, if you can begin by just filling out those forms, those are insurance waivers, and then you'll find a list of various aspects of your face. Go ahead and check off anything that you think you might want to improve on just a little bit. Okay, we have our results. Negative side effects with only 3 of 14 participants in the study. That's not bad. Let's see now.
Hello?
Jill. Hi, Jill.
Dick.
It's you, isn't it?
Oh, honey, I can barely
For real, guys, it's like that. That was a clip from the movie Fun with Dick and Jane, which is a comedy which may have alluded to the Enron scandal. Another conspiracy fact.